I have a few things I want to get off my chest, cause this really bothers me. It's about school. Let's get right into it. I have been going to school for a long time, and I'm still in school. And I have to be honest, there is some things I have learned, because as everyone knows, school is about learning, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. Kind of. Not to 100%. That is what I have learned in my time going to school. I don't know how school in other countries are, but I know well how it is here in Sweden. And it isn't good. Well, it's not really bad either, but it's very far from how good it could be. School nowadays, here in Sweden, isn't about teaching kids to think critically, think for themselves, think outside the box, or to be an individual. School is about teaching kids to think right, to think properly. That is not a good thing, because that kills individuality, and that is nothing but bad. Especially here in Sweden, if you don't have the same opinion as the majority, or the right opinion, even if you have the evidence and statistics to back you up, they will do what they can to lecture you to not think that way. They will discredit you and label you as a bad person or a bad student for not having the correct opinion. And for being a nation that prides itself as a very progressive, open and democratic country that is extremely anti-democratic, to be told by teachers that you're not allowed to think a certain thing, that you're not allowed to have certain opinions because they're bad or sensitive. That is a very dangerous way of teaching individuals. It teaches people to be scared and ashamed of their own individuality, and it completely kills the possibility of an open and honest discussion. That is a tool for authorities to silence others and control others who have opinions they disagree with, so they can get away without being questioned. That is a very bad way of going about it, especially in the long run, but that is how schools work in Sweden. But that is not the only thing I wanted to say. I have some things about teachers too. You see, the teacher wants to do as little work as possible and leave most of the responsibilities to either other teachers or to the student. That doesn't work, because every teacher tries to do that, and the students, well, they want to do as little as they need to so they can get out of there and do something that they would actually much rather do. That is why the system doesn't work. And things like tests doesn't make much sense either to me. Sure, it does in a way force the student to learn what it has to then be tested on its knowledge. But what about afterwards? What about a week after the test? How many of you remember the answer to most questions on a test just a week afterwards? I know I have a difficult time even remembering the answer to the most basic of a question just a day after the test. But who cares? The test is done, and as long as you did well enough on the test, it doesn't matter if you remember it a week later. So even if you do learn what you're supposed to, afterwards you may not even remember it, but nobody really cares about it, so it doesn't matter. So, what is even the point of learning that thing at all, if you're not gonna remember it? And that is especially true if it is about something you don't care about or that you are just uninterested in. Then you just won't care to remember it, and so you won't. So even if you got an A on the test, someone can ask a question about it a year later and you have no clue what the answer is, even though you did great on the test. I remember about 6 years ago, I asked the science teacher I had then why I, as someone who wanted to work with cars in the future, needed to know the specifics of how a human brain works when I will have no use for that information when I'm going to work with cars. Because to me, it didn't make much sense, since I wasn't going to be a scientist. She replied with, "It doesn't matter what you will work with in the future, it's always good to know the specifics of a human brain." But now, about 6 years later, I can see that she was wrong and I was right. Because I have no clue what I learned in her class, and I sure don't remember the specifics of a human brain, because today I have no use for that information at all. But I know how to fix most things in a car by myself, because that information I have use of. So it really didn't matter, because I'm doing very well without knowing what she was trying to teach me. And as you know, I'd rather be working as a YouTuber than as a mechanic. So I put all the passion I have into making YouTube work out for me. Therefore, I have lost a lot of motivation for what I do in school. And to add to that, I find the way my teachers are teaching not good. They don't teach me anything, because they leave the teaching to the students in my school. In their eyes, it's up to us, students, to teach ourselves what we're supposed to know. That doesn't work for someone like me, because I can't teach myself something I know nothing about. even if I do really want to learn it, it doesn't matter how many books you give me to read or how many questions you want me to answer correctly, because at the end of the day, I will not have remembered anything I have read, because I don't learn like that. Now I know that is not how it is for everyone. For most people, that does work, but not for me. And there really isn't anything I can do about it, since the majority of my class doesn't feel the same way, and I don't want to be treated as someone with special needs. All I need is more structure. It is with clear structure that I learn, not by reading texts and answering specific questions related to that text, because even in an hour, I will have forgotten what I've answered, because my brain feels no need to remember it. It is done. Now move on to the next task. Work like a robot. But I cannot work like that, and that is exhausting to me. Frankly, I'm sick and tired of all this. It needs to be changed, and it needs to be changed now. But fuck it. Who cares what a random dude on YouTube has to say? I'm gonna go for a drive. See you guys in the next video. Have a great day.